So there are a lot of people out there that are really still struggling to lose weight or, as they say, tone up. So in this video, I'm going to show you or explain to you the reasons, probably why you can't lose that weight, you can't shift that weight, and why you're not feeling more toned or leaner. And yeah, go through those main points. So I've got them all written down on my laptop. Have a think in your head when I read them out. Are you doing this? Could this be you, or could this be the reason why you're not losing weight, you're not hitting your target? So, first one, you might not be hitting the right calorie target, pretty obvious. You might not be tracking well enough, so not being as specific and as detailed with your tracking if you're missing out certain bits of food, stuff like that. You might not be hitting your protein target, so protein's really important for keeping yourself, making yourself feeling full and satisfied from the food that you're eating. That's a big point if you're always feeling hungry all the time. So if my protein's low, I'm going to feel starving all the time. You might not be moving enough, so you might not be getting those steps in. You might not be doing that overall activity across each day and each week. That's going to help you lose that weight. That's a big point as well. So a lot of times people will just sat on their computer working so stationary that the overall steps across the day is really low, and that's you're going to really struggle to try and shift any sort of weight if you're being that inactive. I think a lot of you will already know that by now, but it's still it's a point that you've still got to think about and see if that relates to your situation now. I've definitely been in that spot sometimes over the years where I've just been way too inactive and not doing enough. So let's just move on to the next steps. You might be drinking enough water. You might not be recovering well enough, so sleep comes into that as well. You might not be thinking about your calorie intake on the weekends, so you're not just going to track Monday to Friday. You need to start with tracking Monday to Sunday, because your Saturday and Sunday days, they're gonna a lot of the time be your highest calorie days. Whether that's going out for friends, going out for a few drinks, having a big meal on a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon, that can sort of put you into that calorie surplus when actually you want to be in a deficit across the week. So think about your calories as a average from across the whole week. So if you're eating loads more on the weekends, then you sort of need to think about that Monday to Friday, or if you've got a big weekend coming up. So next one, you might not have someone holding you accountable. So for me, I've got clients where I'm checking in with them every day and I'm setting out their targets across the week and what targets they need to hit. And then we review that every Sunday. And this helps them to keep on track because they know that there's someone keeping an overview of what they need to do to reach that long-term goal. And they're not just doing random things and having no structure to it. So that's a big one. Accountability, it helps with everyone that I've worked with. And the last point that I've got written down here, and it's actually this is more relatable for me as well, is you might not stick to it for long enough to actually see results from it. So just because you've done it for 4, 6, 8 weeks doesn't mean that you might not see the results in the next 4 weeks. Okay, so sometimes you just got to keep at it for another 2, 3 weeks, start seeing results, and then your results are going to skyrocket. So stay with it and actually focus on just being consistent, ticking the boxes, doing what you need to do, and then you will see results from it. And like I've said in the video before, a lot of the time you just need to show up. You just need to turn up. You just need to wake up on a Monday, for example, and you've said you're going to train. You need to go and do your training session, tick the box, focus on the next day. If you do that consistently enough for the say 8, 12 weeks, you're going to start seeing results from it because you're being consistent and you're doing what you said you're going to do. All right, so have a think about those questions that I've put on there and those sort of statements more of, and think what relate to you and what can you use to help you make the progress that you want to make. So whether that's being consistent, whether that's calorie intake, whether that's sleep, recovery, have a think about it, write it down, and then look at making that schedule for Monday, for next week. Make that schedule, stick to that schedule, and then be consistent. All right. But as always, guys, keep disciplined, and I'll speak to you soon.